Gather round, y'all, it's time for a tale of 12 old men, one of whom will fail to impress his peers cause of a team so stale. It's the wrong way roundabouts. It's the wrong way roundabouts.
Good evening, John. How's it going?
You messed that up, didn't you? Didn't you, Andres?
Sorry, I have something in my throat. How's it going, John?
I got no complaints so far. It's early in the night, though. We'll see what pops off. How's your week going?
Week's been pretty good.
Is it? Because I heard from Natalie that your son has managed to lose both key fobs this week for the pool.
I think he was half responsible for losing one, and he lost the other one, but we found one.
Oh, okay.
So no, but then Allison ordered a second one, so we're good. We're back to business.
All right. How much of a beating did he catch for that?
Can't say on there.
Oh, you're a kind father. Andres, actually, I think the first order of business that I have to attend to here, I owe you an apology, sir. In the Brian Fagan podcast, we talked about his miniature Shetland cows that are apparently $35,000. Remember this?
Yes, and he sent us that website. They are adorable.
They are cute. I'll give him that.
I was not expecting it to be that cute.
I showed them to Natalie. She agrees. They're super cute. I can't afford a $35,000 cow, though, so I'm not getting one. Hopefully Brian gets one. We can stop by the farm. Hopefully we stop by the farm. We come home from the farm. That's always a little bit of an unknown when you visit the Fagan farm. But they are cute. But the reason I owe you an apology, you had asked if these cows were cloned during that session. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I laughed, and I'm like, I knew they weren't cloned. Apparently they are cloned.
Yeah. Or, I mean, at least some, because he pointed at that one mom. Maybe not all, but yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So the cows were cloned. I scoffed, but it was a valid question, Andres. I apologize, sir.
No apology accepted. No worries.
So look, today's going to be an interesting podcast, Andres. This is technically, I think we're calling this episode 12. I think this is the 14th or 15th recording that we've got now. Now, when you and I started this thing, late last year, the focus of this was the Thorngate Fantasy Football League, right? That was the whole intent, was to go through the playoffs and discuss league news and trades and results. And it was going to be like a heavily focused Wrong Way Roundabouts Fantasy Football League podcast. I don't know where it all went wrong, but we haven't talked about fantasy football in a while. I don't know what the hell we're talking about 90% of the time.
Yeah.
I left the last episode in tears thinking about my children's future. So we veered off. But today, Andres, we're going to make a triumphant return to the Thorngate Fantasy Football League. And I don't think there's any better person to return to our roots on with a special guest. I would like to welcome to the podcast the one, the only, Mr. Jeff Ciavone.
Thank you. Very
How's
nice
it going,
to be
Jeff?
here. Doing well.
Jeff, so you and I think we met once or twice briefly at the gazebo. I think Matt Engstrom was doing one of his cornhole events one day, but you and I did not know each other very well. So I'll introduce myself. I'm John Black. I've actually been in the neighborhood for a long time. I've been here since 2009. So we definitely overlapped while you were in the neighborhood, even though we didn't get to hang out much. And I'm going to tell you, I'm seriously regretting that, because as I hear about you in the Thorngate Fantasy Football chat, apparently you were throwing some legendary ragers for parties there, Jeff. You were like the party captain.
Yeah, we've definitely thrown some parties. When we first started out a few years back, I think a lot of the neighborhood didn't know too many people, and we started throwing a Halloween party. And I think that party picked up and started having more and more people every year. And suddenly the neighborhood, I think, started gelling and meeting everybody else. And we were fortunate enough to have a lot of the neighborhood, come on in and attend the parties. And the parties just got a little bigger and bigger every year. And it was absolutely phenomenal, because I thought we really brought the neighborhood together. I thought we really helped gather everybody and really help people get to know everyone else. So I think I'm fortunate in that aspect, that everybody was moved in at that time and everybody was coming together, and the people that were already there kind of joined, and I thought it was something special.
Yeah. So when were you in the neighborhood? Give me the years if you don't mind. When did you move into Thorngate? When did you move out of Thorngate?
I'm trying to think of the year back. It was near. So, Andres, I'm trying to figure out the exact time frame that it
I'm
was.
pretty sure you were 2016 because same year as us because we met the same year we each moved in, and then
Yeah, I think-
you left in.
Yeah, I think we moved in around a month apart. I think we moved in really close together, and we both joined. So I think that's about right. It's about 2016. So yeah, we at that time we both moved in, spent 6 years, 7 years there.
6 years, 7 years. And why did you leave? Was it because of Andres?
No, it was at the time I had a job offer that actually paid double what I was making there, and they offered to sell the house and pay all the commissions, and my wife and me really regret moving out of there because we absolutely love the neighborhood. She still wants to move back. She still wants to move back in that same house that we already sold. So we absolutely love the neighborhood. I had a lot of friends, and it was fun because everybody would chip in. Everyone would help out. The more people you meet, the more you understand that it really was a community affair where everybody really got to know each other and really got to connect, know their families, hang out with their families, and once again, like cornhole and fantasy football and a lot of other things that we did. And it was absolutely wonderful. We actually went out date nights where all the couples went out and we did things, and it was really enjoyable.
So Jeff, there's a little bit of a recurring meme in the fantasy football group chat that every time a house goes up for sale in the neighborhood that Jeff Ciavone is going to buy it. And I'll tell you this, you want a coincidence. So Michael Chrisman. Now, did you know Michael Chrisman? Was Michael Chrisman overlap? Okay, so you know Michael. So he sold his house recently, and we're gonna come back to this.
Sale pending. Sale pending.
We're actually going to come back to this topic in a little bit, Jeff, because I want to get your opinion on something. But he sold his house recently. And the person buying his house had the last name of Ciafone, Ciafone. And Michael tells us this, and everyone's like, "Holy shit! Is it happening? Is Jeff moving back in and in a secret disguise sort of way?" So can you set the rumor to rest? Are you in fact not Jeff Ciafone? That is not you purchasing Michael's house?
No, I did not do an alias buy of the property. And no, I did not, covertly, distinguish myself. And by, even though I wish I would have, my wife would have absolutely been ecstatic. She loves the neighborhood and she loves, obviously all the families there. But no, I wish that was the case.
So you would come back, though, if the opportunity presents itself, if the timing is right, you'd be up for a grand return to the Thorngate neighborhood then.
Absolutely. Yeah. My wife talks about it all the time. Andres will tell you the parties that we had in the back and the privacy and the fun that we did. It was just such a great time because everyone could bring their families and we could view the pool, the kids could play, and we could still, have some drinks, enjoy ourselves as adults. And it was a great time.
So when you left the neighborhood, Jeff, where did life take you? I'm going to be honest, I don't even know where in the world you are right now.
So right now I'm in Houston, but it originally took me to Fort Myers, Florida, because of COVID. They didn't require me to be in the office. And so I got lucky to make a bid on a property and got it undervalued and paid undervalue for it. And got a great property in Florida in Fort Myers. So we moved there for a few years. We actually had the house built that house, moved there, and then another job. That job got bought out. That Capital One actually bought that Discover and ended up moving out of that job to this job in Houston.
Wait, Jeff, I thought you were in Chicago for a year.
Yeah, so it was Chicago, but I wasn't required to be in Chicago for the first year and a half. So we bought a property in Fort Myers, and they allowed me to work remote, and that was a great time because it allowed me to work remote. I got to enjoy the sun, much better than Chicago weather.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So, Jeff, I hear about these parties. I hear about the house. I hear about the pool. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but the guys that bought your house, they are not similar to you. I don't quite know how else to phrase it. Did you know the people buying your house? Do you have any contact?
No, I didn't. They when they bought the house, there was some let's say issues. I'll just say that. And we actually sold it for the company that I was working for actually sold the house, and they were dealing with them and had some issues with them, and kind of found out really quickly that they weren't as friendly and outgoing as, let's say, some other people were. So when we got in there, we absolutely loved it. Got it, got that property, and actually got a seal on the property. And it was the only house that was grandfathered with the pool in that neighborhood. So we got fortunate to have that because they had someone in there that was on disability, and they got a waiver to build the pool.
Scam the system, because that doesn't look like a pool that you need for disability. It looks like a pool you have for parties. But speaking of the parties, the other thing I hear about you, I hear a lot about Jeff Schiavone. You are a popular guy, sir, and you are revered, well remembered, and missed. I hear about the house, hear about the parties. I hear about Jeff's expensive taste. Some of this coming from Robbie Johnston, fancy pool tables, fancy bars that you had in the upstairs hangout area. And now you're saying that you built your own house when you went down to Fort Myers, which sounds amazing. So give us an idea. What sort of fancy stuff did you do when you had your own vision to creating this new place that you were moving to? Any good stuff you can tell us about?
Yeah. So when I got the place there, we end up redoing quite a few things in that place. The pool table, we happened to get lucky in Georgia. We ended up picking it up. It was a table that a doctor had owned, and it was a $25,000 table. It was an old house in Venetian table, and it's very rare. They only made like 1,000 of those tables. But the table was a beautiful table. They came in and set it up, and we're fortunate that we had the bar redone, and then had a few other things that we were able to do at the house because obviously a lot of those houses have a lot of room. Able to redo stuff, and it turned out perfect. We were fortunate to redo all the pool and do all the stones in the pool, and it just turned out marvelous. It's once again the neighborhood was perfect for entertaining, had a lot of room, and it just seemed to be conducive to bringing people together.
So I see now, as you're walking around your lovely backyard, looks like you got a decent pool, a decent hangout spot there. What's the party scene like in the new neighborhood, Jeff? Is it
it's quiet here. I don't think that any of my neighbors have come over. I've had one neighbor come over, and they're really quiet. And I haven't had no other neighbors over. This neighborhood is very, very quiet and very laid back.
All right, but you're doing your best to change it, I hope.
One more time, what was that?
I said you're doing your best to change that, I hope. I hope you're trying to create the community over there. Bring them in.
Yeah, you know what? It's not easy to build a community and bring people together. We had to hand out flyers our first October and really go door to door and start meeting people and talking to people. And it was not easy to begin with, but once we started getting people together, it just seemed like we were all in the same age range, and we all had the same goals and the same, we wanted to have fun, enjoy the neighborhood, and get to know each other. And I think everyone took care of each other and watched each other's property and did a lot of good things. So it was a phenomenal neighborhood.
Not too bad.
All right. Yeah. So let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to the hood. So I guess John's interested. He knows about your trolling and some of the beefs with like Robbie. Do you want to reminisce on any of the old days? Or I know you still troll Robbie on Facebook sometimes with the Yankees and stuff.
Well, I heard I'm gonna put a finer point on it. I heard you and Robbie almost came to blows at the gazebo, and I don't know why, but that's the story I heard.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but go ahead.
Yeah, me and Robbie have had our let's say fun. We definitely like to jab each other. He was a big both Georgia and Yankees fan, and because of that, at the time Georgia was winning, being in a lot of national title games and stuff like that, and they were on a winning streak. Same thing with the Yankees. And now that my teams have come back, I'm a Michigan guy, so I'm a Detroit Tigers and Michigan Wolverines guy. And when my team would win, they get a little bit upset. But my team, obviously, we had another guy named Ben Sappenfield in the neighborhood. He was Ohio State guy. So Michigan, Ohio State, we'd always used to bump heads. And so it's kind of like a round robin. I think what the unique experience was that you had so many people that represented a bunch of different colleges and cities. And it's fun that everyone would represent the city and always go head to head with something. So I think I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed. Go ahead.
I was like, well, John mentioned.
Sorry.
John mentioned you and Robbie almost came to blows. I've never heard that. Is that accurate?
We had a disagreement. I'll say we were drinking, had a disagreement. I think it was regarding cornhole, and it was something, but it wasn't face to face, nose to nose. I want to punch in the mouth. It was more like, I think we had a disagreement, and I'll leave it at that. But at the end of the day, I think cooler heads prevailed. We were both are alpha males and both want to win, and whether it's ping pong or whether it's another sport or cornhole, we all want to win, and we all were very competitive. I think that's what really drove the camaraderie and competition.
So someone challenged somebody to a fight at the big oak tree after school, but it didn't happen in the end.
Yeah, I think that it did not happen. 1 second, I'm going dark here. Let me turn my light on. Just walking in the house, I get a little bit better connectivity in the house.
All right, you're good. Your audio's been fine the whole time, so that's good.
Yeah. So yeah. Once again, there were a lot of times where we would be drinking, whether it's his house or my house, and we would bump heads in competition or something else. But luckily, none of our folks over there got to landing blows or getting in throwing fists or anything like that.
So Michigan, you mentioned it. I barely even know you, Jeff, and I'm aware of your deep admiration and love for all things Michigan, especially Michigan football. And now you're a recent national championship winner. Congratulations, sir. Didn't work out very well last year, though. What happened?
We still beat Ohio State. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we beat Ohio State. We beat Alabama. And you know what? Even though they didn't go to the playoffs, they I think they made their mark. I think they made their mark.
Jeff's also a bit. Football is the biggest, but he likes hockey a lot. The Michigan hockey team and basketball, like he follows all of those.
Yeah, I think that between hockey, I think Michigan has a great program all the way around. I think that they bring it. Once again, basketball, they went to the Sweet 16, and Michigan's obviously the winningest team in NCAA history. That just speaks for itself, and they recruit and they bring it. I think this year they'll make it 5 times in a row. It's been over 2,000 days since Ohio State has beat Michigan. So
I can't say that I keep track, but I bet you do, Jeff.
It's actually 2028, but okay.
So this is going to be a very stupid question, and I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask, you're from Michigan. That's your home state.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, born and raised in Detroit. As Andres probably knows, I went to high school, same high school as MN, Lincoln High School, during the same years.
This is one of my questions I have for you later. I have also heard this, that you know or knew both Eminem and Kid Rock, apparently.
Yeah.
Michigan seems like a small town.
Really,
I guess Michigan's a state.
Really, the area in Warren and Detroit is really a small area. And then and even Romeo, where Kid Rock went to school. So it's really a small area, and everybody knew each other. And Kid Rock had a place in Davison, and Eminem used to hang out at this bar called Off Hoover Road. We used to go out there a lot, but you bumping these people, on the regular. So it wasn't uncommon to bump into people because there was a lot of great music scene during that time. There was a lot of people that grew up in that neighborhood that became wealthy and rich and famous.
So I heard Kid Rock already was wealthy and rich. Maybe not famous at the time.
No, he wasn't that wealthy. No, his family wasn't living in Romeo. His family was not poor by any means, but they weren't to that level of wealth.
Okay. All right. So he wasn't poor, but he wasn't mega rich either then.
Correct.
And then on Eminem, did you ever challenge him to a rap battle? Did you win? Could you win, Jeff?
No, I didn't go down to St. Andrews or where actually the rap battle took place off of Jefferson there and challenge him or anything. But you know what? He actually did show. They still show up to a lot of places there in Mount Clemens and in Detroit, and they very often they'll show up randomly and just do a set. But
Still to this day, that's interesting.
still to this day, Mount Clemens or they're which is a city a little bit north of Detroit. They'll come down there and do the festivals and do a lot of stuff, and they'll show up randomly to sets. And you gotta give them credit. You know, they know their hometown and love their hometown, and they pay homage to it. So you got to appreciate that they know where they were raised.
So does it ever bother you? Now I'll put my hand up. I've only been to Detroit once in my life, and it was quite nice. Actually, I went to a Lions game up there last year, and when I went to Detroit, the area I guess where the stadium is, it's very posh and nice and new and looks very modern. But the stereotype for Detroit, let's be honest, is that it's a complete like urban hellhole, right? And you're going to get murdered walking in there. I have no idea the truth of the matter, or if it was true and is now no longer true. Does that ever bother you that Detroit's rep is not that great?
Well, I think the rep for a long time because they were a high crime city for in the 80s and the 90s. I think that they changed that model. I think that that Buffett and a lot of other investors put a lot of money, billions of dollars in the riverfront and built back, and they built farms down there in vacant blight land, and they've built the whole riverfront up, put casinos, and they have the largest open air entertainment area in the world. In Campus Martius, and they have with the casinos and Greektown and everything else, they've done a phenomenal job of rebuilding that city. Not just the brand and the image, but really changing the whole culture of growing up in Detroit. Because Detroit was a real blue collar neighborhood, and it was very, let's say, very rough neighborhood to grow on. And you didn't want to cross 8 Mile at some point when I was a kid, because it was a dividing line between black and white. You cross on 8 Mile at that time, and it was a big dividing line, and you essentially put your life in jeopardy to go into that neighborhood.
Okay.
So, John, before we continue, I don't know if you knew this. Jeff and I, we took a trip to Michigan together.
I did not know this.
Yeah,
Why were you in Michigan together?
So I think it was 2022 opening season or 21. I can't remember.
Yeah.
We did a weekend up there. We went to the Michigan game, but we did a afternoon in Detroit, and then we went to Ann Arbor. It was a good time.
You've got some link to Michigan yourself.
My brother went to UM. Yeah.
Okay, your brother went to University of Michigan. I knew there was something there. Okay, so you went up there, hung out with Jeff.
His twin brother.
Yeah, I understand you have a twin brother, Jeff?
Yes, I do. Yeah, he still lives in Michigan. He lives in St. Clair Shores area.
Okay, what's his name?
Joe.
Okay. So we keep coming back to Crispin. Crispin has some twin boys. They were on the podcast. They were on one of the earlier episodes. And I was grilling them about twin telepathy, Jeff. Is it real? Can you telepathically communicate with your twin?
I'd say it is to a degree, and I'll explain that. So when you grow up with somebody and you know all of their experiences and you know their life experience, you think like them. So you've been grown into the same mold. You've seen a lot of the same things. You've done a lot of things. Your family's that. So for me and him, we're able to complete each other's senses. I already know what he's going to say most of the time. I know how he's going to react in situations. I know. So if that's telepathy, then I would say yes. I think that the experiences and the knowledge and as growing up and being that close to somebody, you know a lot of what they're about, what they do, and their character and everything else about them. So I think that really plays well into understanding their thought process and thought train.
Okay. That's interesting. So now what about the twin hijinks? You ever had your brother go to your classes for you, vice versa? You ever make out with his girlfriend?
Yeah, I think I'm beyond the statute of limitations for this in middle school, but I switched classes with my brother, and he was in, I was supposed to do some testing. I was more fit than I was in wrestling. And so I did his his fitness test and some of his other tests that he had to do for PE. And he took and went into I had a volleyball class. So we swapped classes, and then he ended up, during that class, he ended up injuring his arm and ended up breaking it. So, breaking his arm, he fell down, he was going volleying, fell down and hit his arm and fell on it and had to get a cast. So the very next day, they're like, he's going back to the other class. They're like, well, what happened? You were perfect yesterday. So what happened? He says, it's a weird thing. I came home last night and fell on my arm, and my brother, he had something in his class, and he feels a little bit, he's feeling better and everything's going well for him. So, and the teacher suspected it, and they knew that, hey, something wasn't right in the woodshed here, but they couldn't really do anything. There was no rule in there for switching classes. And they actually checked the documents, the government's documents for school, the code of conduct. There was no provision in there for skipping or changing classes. So they couldn't discipline us. And they knew that something happened, but they couldn't prove it. They couldn't punish us because it wasn't in the code of conduct. But
so it's probably in there now, Jeff.
Yeah, I think that they added that probably that same time when we were. Yeah, I think they amended that very quickly.
The C of own clause. They had to get that added in there just because
I think it's in there. I really do think it's in there now. So yeah, it was funny though. We've been in a few situations where people, mix me with him, and it's definitely unique to watch their reaction even now, because we still look a lot alike. And seeing in a restaurant, and they kind of look at you both, and they're like, I know you're twins. I know something, and they have to stop and stare at you for a second. So it is unique, and it is pretty comical in my mind.
You got to get yourself one of those TikTok twin prank videos or channels that they're all doing. There's big money in that, Jeff. You could become a social media star.
I think you're right. I think you're onto something. I need to monetize this in some way.
We'll advertise you on the podcast. You throw out some mentions on your TikTok channel. We'll make this work for both of us, Jeff. We can all get out of the rat race.
Yeah, I would love it.
So, Jeff, I need your opinion on something here, because this has been, I'll call it the latest firestorm in the Wrong Way Roundabouts Thorngate Fantasy Football League. So, as you well know, the rules of the league require that the members of the league live there, right? That's kind of
there are two requirements.
Got to be a guy.
There you go.
Got to be a guy. Got to live in the neighborhood. And you, Jeff, now Andres, you're an OG. Correct me if I'm wrong. Jeff actually was a precedent-setting.
Now that you mentioned that, before you continue, I want to give Jeff a pop quiz question. So, you were one of the original members.
Yep.
Can you name 6 of the 12 original members?
Yeah.
You can include yourself if you need one.
Yeah, me, you, TJ, Ben. It was also. I'm trying to think. Crispin.
Okay, we got 4 right now. No, not original.
I'm just trying to think of who else was on that list, because we bounced 2 people because they moved pretty quickly. God, you know what? My Alzheimer's is getting to me.
Robbie, your boy Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie. I know Robbie. I did think of Robbie, but who else? And the last one.
And then there was 12, but Josh Peresta.
Peresta's the one I was thinking of, and the other one lived across the street from me.
Who? Teeth? No, he joined the second year.
Did he? Was it second year?
Yeah. But Jeff and Josh, they played for the championship the second year, and Josh won the title, but it was a really, really good matchup.
Okay. So, all right. So, Jeff, this is the controversy, and I need you to weigh in on this one. So, obviously, there's the 2 rules. You got to live in the neighborhood. You moved out of the neighborhood. You were no longer allowed to be in the league because of that. That situation is repeated. Now, Michael Chrisman is moving out of the neighborhood, and your friend Andres here, your friend TJ over there, your friend Josh over there. They're saying, guys, this is established law. Chrisman has to exit the fantasy football league. It's done. Now, since you've left the league, there's been turnover. I'm one of the new guys. There's another gentleman, Matt Frankel's one of the new guys.
Yep.
We are admittedly pushing. Well, no, we like Crispin. He's a good contributor to the league. We think he's fun to hang out with. And I am making this technical argument, Jeff. He lives in the neighborhood in this calendar year in which the fantasy football league will be kicking off. Andres is holding steady. He says, nope, You got to be living in the neighborhood for the combine. So the old guard, the people that were in the league when you ran into this challenge, they're trying to say precedent is set, it's done. Some of the new guys like me are saying, hey, can we open the books? Can we at least talk about it? Being that you were in this situation, what's your opinion? Where do you think we need to fall on this, Jeff?
Yeah, so let me step back. I was the first one removed under this rule. So just to be very clear, I was the first one removed under this rule, and it was we were about to start the season, and I was removed, and I was actually a little bit unhappy about it because once again I loved the league, and we had such a great time. But just because I'm scoring, I think they should keep him in at least for this season.
Okay.
And this is why. Wait. This is why.
No. I'm gonna say that you having mercy on him for like the year extension. That's pretty humble of you.
Yeah, because
go ahead.
Because when I got pulled, I really wanted to play. I thought that that year, I thought that hey, we had played enough. We'd gone around, and I had a couple chances where I could have won championships. And once again, I wanted one more opportunity, and I felt that hey, I didn't get that opportunity. So if I could give that opportunity to somebody else and get that chance to do that, that's what I would do. And that's just because me and my situation, because I feel that they should be given an opportunity because again, it's not just the camaraderie, but it's like you hung out and you were part of this for so long and you really enjoyed the the competition, enjoyed the the folks and everything. So that's what I would do. I would probably give him the opportunity to have one more season.
Okay, there you go. This is from the man himself.
The judge has spoken.
Jeff Ciavone is on the remain side. He is a remainer.
Very impressive.
All right, I'm gonna pass on your message to the old guard here, Jeff.
So Jeff, how many leagues are you in now?
Right now I'm in 3 leagues.
Wow.
But two are pretty high money, and actually 2 are keeper leagues. In both of the leagues, I've got Jahmyr Gibbs, and I've been absolutely crushing it. I got him when he was a rookie, and you can carry over for 2 years, and this would be a 3rd year, so I have to release him this year. But man, I've been absolutely crushing it. I've been very fortunate to get some good rosters and be able to crush and pick up some great players, some rookies that have done pretty well for me.
Nice.
So what is high money? Because there's a lot of people in our league that bitch about the price of entry, and it's $125. So what's a big money league?
So it's $225 and $350. So
okay.
But you also pay for you're paying for in one league, you're paying for trades and you're paying for all the transactions and stuff. And then there's also another side bonus pool. And you have to there's a certain amount of money you're allocated to pick people up.
Yeah, the fat money, we do that too.
Yeah, so I think that's the big change, but you still have to pay for them. And once again, you're paying a couple extra dollars for every pickup, and that adds to the pool. And it's fun. It's actually a great time. It makes you reconsider your pickups.
Yeah, I think we're still on the waiver wire when you were here, but we switched to Fab 3 years ago. It's so much more fun.
Yeah, it's a great experience.
So Jeff, I may have some good news for you. Since you're advocating for Michael Chrisman and supporting some of our positions here, I'm gonna see what I can work out for you. Did you know there are actually 2 fantasy football leagues in Thorngate now? Has anybody told you this?
No, this is the first time hearing of it.
There is a second fantasy football league.
Well, there's a punchline. Don't worry about it. Keep going.
It is the Kids League. It's the Thorngate Junior League. So all the kids now, T's kids, TJ's kids, my kids, Andres' kids, they're in their own fantasy football league. And I've been pitching, we should do promotion and relegation. The loser of the men's league gets kicked out for a season and has to go participate in the kids league. And whoever was in the kids league, like whichever adult was already in the kids league, gets to come back into the men's league that season. So I'm going to see what if I can get you a spot in the kids league, Jeff, for next season. You're going to have to play with a bunch of 12 to 14-year-olds, but hopefully you can win.
Me or my son?
No, you've got to do it. You've got to beat the kids, Jeff. And if you beat the kids, then we can get you promotion into the men's league again.
Bring it on. Somebody's got to teach them the right way to pick and draft and rotate.
All right. It's going to be a $480 league fee. I'm just kidding.
Right?
Joking about.
Entrepreneur. I like that.
So I'm trying to make this happen. Andres hates this idea. I think it's hilarious. I mean, what you get booted out of the adult
not
league?
you specifically, the relegation. I don't want to have somebody playing a kids league.
Yes, he does not like the relegation idea. I think it's funny. Well, I mean, you're still in the chat.
So if I win, do I get pushed up to the adult league then?
Yes, that would be the idea. And actually,
oh yeah,
technically, according to the way that I've proposed it, you don't even have to win. You being in the kids league, there can only ever be one.
Because we don't want to bump a kid. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. No kid can ever go into the men's league. And the man that goes into the kids league, that's part of the punishment. And it's only for one season. Everyone gets to point and laugh. Ha ha, you're in the kids league. But after that one season, you're back in the main league. So every year, whoever's taken their off cycle into the kids league, that would change. It would be the loser of the men's league every year. But if you were already in the kids league, even if you don't win it, first off, that would be embarrassing if you can't beat, a bunch of children. Yeah. But even if you don't win it, you still get welcomed back into the adult league with open arms.
Hey, the opportunity to knock Robbie Johnson into the kids league would be more than enough for me.
You stole my question there. I was going to ask, who would you most want to boot into the kids league? And it sounds like it's Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie would have to be first in line.
Okay. So, Jeff, let me ask, what are you looking for opportunities to get back to Atlanta? You said you're in Houston. Sounds like you got a hell of a gig, man. You must be highly coveted. I think you're in information security, right?
Yeah. So I was at my last role, I was a senior director. In this role, I'm a VP. I manage governance risk. I build risk programs. And this happens to be for a large money management company. So I worked for banks mostly my whole life.
Got it. I'm a senior manager in IT operations, so I hate GRC. Just kidding, but some of you guys are my arch nemesis, but you do good work, sir.
But somebody's got to do it. Keep everybody on track and provide oversight. Make sure we're meeting all the rules and regulations.
Yeah, I know. You're always digging up my hacks that are not meeting the rules and regulations. That's the problem. I've got to do things properly. But okay, so you got a good spot at a money management company in the GRC space, but GRC, InfoSec, especially in today's world with the way things are going digitally, these are high demand jobs. I feel like if you want to make a grand return to Atlanta, go get you one, Jeff. You can do it. You can find a role. Are you looking, or are you in a position where it's like, hey, if it happens, it happens? Or are you trying to get back here?
I am trying to get back there. I have one gentleman that's a CISO for a company in Atlanta that is just got seated in that a new role, and he's looking at finding me a role there. And there's a couple other folks that I know that are keeping their eyes open. The market has been shifting. There's been a lot of mergers and acquisitions, and so it's been shifting a bit in how they manage those. And since I work for primarily large banks, Fortune 100 banks, it's been interesting. So I've been careful on how I approach it, because I hate to get into a role, make a change, leave a role only to be, upset or unseated from that role. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's fair. That makes a lot of sense. So I'll throw this out there. I don't know what your immediate weekend plans are, Jeff, but if you are available to come into Atlanta this weekend, it's the neighborhood pool party. You can be my invited guest. You'll fit in on my key fob. What are you doing on Saturday? You want to come on down?
Hey, I wish I could. I have to take my wife to an appointment. She's got a doctor's appointment where she's going to need a ride. She's getting a checkup, of the, let's say, of the difficult variety. I'll just say that.
This is a kid's podcast, Jeff.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to keep it clean. No bad words.
All right, so you know what the next event's going to be here. This is, again, I'm formally inviting you because I'd love to have you there. I feel like I missed out all these years not going to the C of Own house party, so I'm going to try to recreate the good old days. There will be the Fantasy Combine that's going to take place in September, right, Andres?
No, probably late August, maybe early September.
Late August. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get you the date, Jeff. But if we get you the date for the Fantasy Combine, come by. We'll hang out, have some beers in the roundabout. Well, you can participate in the Fantasy Combine. This is a new thing. I don't believe this was happening when you were in the league. But now your draft order is determined by your placement in the Fantasy Combine. So 1 year, we had all 12 guys participate in things like Flip Cup and chugging beers and hitting tennis serves and sinking free throws and that sort of stuff. So we have a whole gauntlet of events that the contestants have to run. And then your draft order is determined by your time. So would you be interested in joining us for the combine this year and maybe even participating?
Sure, I'm game. Just give me a heads up on what the events are so I can try to get in mental shape and physical shape. And my tennis game has gone off the rails, but hey, if you got pickleball and other stuff, hey, I'm all in.
All right.
Sounds good.
I'm going to chase these guys down then. I'm going to make sure that we get to a date and we will send that over to you, sir.
Yeah, I can bring some good bourbon. They'll tell you that we've had some very good bourbon selections as part of the parties and everything else. I'll make sure to bring a couple good selections.
All right. Well,
all right, Jeff, we're at about 40 minutes. I know you were watching a movie with D. So we could try to wrap it up if you want. But before you go, what did you think about the whole beef between Trump and Elon? It just happened today.
Well, I knew that something was going to go off the rails because, Trump has an approach, and I think he alienates everybody that he comes across in one way, whether it's defense guys or whether it's his chief of staff or whether it's, Elon, somebody with that sort of knowledge and power. It only was going to be a matter of time before they were going to bump heads and cause a boom. I thought it would happen actually earlier than it did. And I think it's going to be catastrophic for some of his businesses for the next couple of years for Elon. But at the end of the day, I think he will overcome it. So,
okay, yeah, they had some good jabs online. I think some of the guys in the chat were following pretty close. So it was pretty funny. So I was seeing what you thought.
I'm with Jeff. I mean, I think anybody with half a brain could have predicted that Trump and Musk were going to fall out. And honestly, 6 months seems about right. That's as long as Trump's relationships tend to last. The level that it's ratcheted up to in 12 hours has surprised me.
Stormy, Ivanka, look at all the relationships. They go 6 month cycles. So, yeah. I mean, once it gets off the rails, it's done.
Yeah, it went nuclear. It went hot really quick today. You got Elon Musk saying that Trump's a pedophile. That was not on the bingo card, but hey, it's entertaining to watch. Am I right?
Hey, I thought it would get a little. I think it's still going to get a lot more brutal. I think in the next couple of days, both their egos may take them to places they don't want to go.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Jeff. So we'll see what happens. But look, Jeff, we've gone through the questions, sir. First off, I want to thank you. Again, I've heard so much about you. You're loved in the chat. All the guys laugh and reminisce about the times that they were hanging out at C of O's house, the pool parties, the jokes. Yeah, a little bit of the light trolling with Michigan and Ohio State. But the guys miss you. So I'm glad that we're able to get you to be on to be a guest on this podcast. I really appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you very much for having me on. Bring me back on anytime. And once again, I look forward to both the combine and continuing to engage. So thank you very much, and you guys have a great day.
All right, Jeff, before you sign off, I just want to mention when the pod's up, we'll send you the link so you can listen. All right.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take it easy, Jeff.
Have a good night, Jeff.
All right.
Take care, bud. All right. There you have it. Jeff Ciavone on the podcast, Andres. He's been a highly requested guest. I'm glad we were able to fit into his schedule.
Yeah, that was great catching up with him. We appreciate his time. Thanks, Jeff, the one and only. So he didn't talk about his billiards game. He's actually really good at billiards. He's played like tournaments in Vegas and stuff.
That's his jam, his billiards. Is that why he had a $26,000 table or whatever it was?
Yeah. Well, he just plays a lot. He used to shoot even at like good old days. Like, yeah, he played because he talks a lot of smack about stuff except like billiards, which is really good at. I think he tries not to like rub it on people.
I should have asked him, do you think he still has the table? Or when he moved, was that too much of a pain to move with him?
I can't remember. You should ask him, but we'll figure it out.
I do remember hearing in one of the chats that when Jeff Ciavone left the neighborhood, he was doing like a house cleaning and he was getting rid of a bunch of stuff that he did not intend to take with him. I think it was actually Robbie was saying he got some killer Halloween decorations off of him and a couple other people got something really nice. Didn't Ben Sappenfield get his egg, whatever the hell, Big Green Egg Mini or
Yeah, that's like another joke. I don't know if he got. Did he? I think he must have paid something for it, because for like 6 months after, he kept asking Jeff about the warranty papers. He's like, "No, I don't have them." But yeah, he got that from Jeff, and then yeah, he got a bunch of. So I don't know about the table. I want to say he took it because Toby helped him and Diane move with a couple of big trucks. So I'm assuming he took it, but I don't know for sure.
Well, I'm glad we got a chance to talk to him. It sounds like he's game for returning to the neighborhood for the combine. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think he'd bring a nice energy to it. We get him to participate.
Well, he said he'd bring some nice bourbon, and he is good for that. So yeah, he'd love to bring back the old days and hang out with the crew.
And for the league members listening, Jeff Schiavone is in favor not only of Chrisman staying. So there you go. That's from somebody who was affected by this rule. He is in favor of Michael Chrisman staying. But he is also in favor of promotion relegation. He's willing to fight the children to get back into this league. So I'm just saying, maybe we need to take another look at the promotion relegation. Could be something fun and interesting. But I defer to the league founder over here, Andres and TJ. I know it's not popular with you two, so slim chance, Jeff. But I'm trying to get you in, sir.
Yeah. So I got outvoted on the Chrisman doctrine exemption, whatever we want to call it, and then the fact that Jeff kind of give us the blessing. I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine. Let's give him the year extension. It's calendar year. Let's let him have it.
All right. Jeff has warmed your heart then.
Yes. Yeah. So I got outvoted. I already given up on that quixotic quest.
I think it's chaotic.
Chaotic quest.
It's Don Quixote, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But now so I was done fighting it. But now, like you said, Jeff he was okay with it. It kind of warmed me to it.
Okay.
It was nice.
Andres, at some point we've got to talk about your Spanish. I feel like you should have known that. The Quixote.
I think it's quixotic. Quixotic.
Is it? Am I going to have to apologize again next week because I got it wrong?
It's Don Quixote, but the adjective in English is quixotic.
Okay. I mean, I understand it's spelled that way. It feels wrong. Anyway, you know what else? This is a E on me, as Mr. Teague would say. Speaking of which, well, and I guess we're going to get to it because we're going to go into neighborhood news here in a second. Mr. Teague, great job as a on-court correspondent with the big tennis match.
Yeah,
and we're gonna get to that. But what I missed specifically with Jeff Schiavone, we left off last week after Fagan's Body Farm episode. Tried to engage you guys to talk about the disaster that is Mystic Ridge Street parking. Nobody was having it after 3 hours of recording. Are we going to solve it now, or do we need to back burner this issue again? Is this going to be the Matt Damon of the podcast, Andres?
What's the Matt Damon of the podcast? What's the metaphor?
So this is a running Jimmy Kimmel gag.
Oh, okay. I don't know it.
Yeah. So multiple times throughout Jimmy Kimmel's late night, is he on the Late Show? I don't remember.
Jimmy Kimmel, yeah, NBC.
Yeah, so he's got a running gag where...
No, Jimmy Kimmel, ABC.
ABC. He ends a lot of shows, and he says, apologies to Matt Damon, we had to bump you tonight. And I think...
Oh, okay.
I think, as far as I'm aware, Matt Damon is not actually there. Maybe it originated, he was actually bumped one night, and Jimmy Kimmel was legitimately apologizing, but the joke ended when Matt Damon stormed out one time. Jimmy Kimmel said, apologies to Matt Damon. He had to bump you, and he runs out from backstage and gets in Jimmy Kimmel's face. It was funny. It was a very...
Oh, okay.
It was
it was an act. No,
yes.
That point. That one. Okay.
Yeah, it was a long form gag that was like a year-long payoff.
Oh, okay. That's clever. I like that.
It was. I thought that was a good one. So we can table Mystic Ridge parking. I did ask you about this.
Let's talk about it now. I just thought I mentioned off air that I thought you and Brian were going to touch it after we touch on the subject after we went off the AI rails, but
we did go off the rails last
which is
week.
In a good way. I mean, but I didn't have time to finish that part. We can talk about it now. So people still complain a lot. I know the little hill is tricky because you can't see. There's only one lane and you can't see a car incoming. That's tricky.
And they're mostly complaining about the people that live in Jeff Schiavone's house.
Yeah.
Because they seem to have a plethora of cars. Did I say that right? Plethora?
Plethora, yeah.
Okay. Plethora.
Well, yeah.
But they're always parking on the street. There seem to be multiple head-on collisions. Look, I'm gonna throw it out there. I agree that people that park on the streets, like, come on, guys, if you're doing it regularly, that's not great. You got to do it every now and then. It's fine. If you're going to park on the street, don't park on the crest of a hill. That seems obvious. But here's my counterpoint to that. since it's like that all the time, at some point you just got to slow down and drive carefully, right? I mean, if there's always congestion on Mystic Ridge and people parking on the street, it's a hazard, right? Drive slowly, drive carefully. But yeah, those people shouldn't be parking on the street. So what should we do? Do you have any creative ideas now we can fix this?
Well, I don't know that. Like when I walk my dog that way, I don't see that many cars on the street. I don't know how big of an issue it is for the people that actually live on that street. Besides that crest,
I'm gonna look this up in the Facebook page and send it to you later, because it's like I feel like there have been dozens of complaints about this.
Yeah, I think the speeding, but I don't know about the actual parking. But yeah, look it up. But I want to, I'll shout out Chris Lip, who never listens, I'm sure. But about a year and a half ago, he posted a picture of his cul-de-sac.
I remember this, yeah.
Because the garbage truck couldn't get through. And he posted, he's like, hey, this is more annoying than anything. I have to go to the city dump, but just FYI, it couldn't fit. If it's a true emergency, fire department, blah. He was using so much rationality, and he sent a picture for visualization, and they've never had an issue. Well, the street's been cleared for like that whole time. Like everybody was like, you're right. Like ransoms and the lemons, they're all like, yeah. Like he made such a convincing point.
Well, that's why he's a better engineer than Brian Fagan.
Oh, that was, I did not say that.
That's why Brian Fagan was never invited back to Alpharetta to make any more buildings. Chris Lip, he gets repeated invites. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, you don't mess with his parking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well done, Chris. Good job. Solve that problem.
Well, he solved the second one. I don't want to mention on there.
Okay. Okay, we'll leave that one off. We'll have Chris Lip on. We should, at this point, I feel like these things start to build a life of their own. Now we need to get Chris Lip on. We can talk to him about what the hell he actually does. Some sort of water-based building, climbing engineer, according to Fagan. I really got the impression Fagan doesn't know what the hell he does either. So
yeah,
it's a total mystery. But all right, Mystic Ridge, neither of us are going to solve it. We're too stupid. Let's go on to the main.
For him, sorry, we'll wrap it up. MRP, somebody who lives on there like Teague, he could come on and explain it to us.
Okay, we'll bring it on. Teague, we're going to get to Teague now as well, because Teague was a critical component to the main event here, Andres. The Josh versus Andres doubles partners turned enemies. This is like Neji Ichiban and Grayson Pierce from the wrestling event. Remember they told us that they were tag team partners, and then
they used to be, yeah.
They turned on each other because Neji kicked him. Remember that? I was like, Jesus, you guys need to get your drama a little bit more impactful. That's not a good reason. But Josh and Andres turned on each other. They played as enemies for the first time in a while, ever. I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, well, I think I said it during the match or after, but we first started playing. We would play each other sometimes during our lunch breaks just because we could get more reps in. But yeah, like an actual duke it out real match. This was the first time ever.
So just to let you know, Andres, I am still cutting the tennis episode. There's lots of audio.
I bet there's a lot of audio.
There's a lot of audio that I'm going to go through, and lots of grunting, old man grunting. And I'm gonna leave in a little old man grunting. I feel like that's what the audience is coming for. But I'm going to try to keep it to a civil, respectable amount of old man grunting. It is coming. It will come out as a bonus episode. It will not be a canonical numbered episode of the Wrong Way Roundabouts, but it'll be coming soon.
So you started recording around 6:15, right?
Yeah, sure.
And stopped around what, 9? No, like 8:30?
Yeah, I guess that sounds about right.
Have you gone through it all?
I haven't gone through all of it.
Of what you have heard, are there any gems? Or anything really funny?
Yeah, there have been a couple of good ones so far, but there's 3 cameras and 2 microphones worth of audio, all recording. So I mean, there's whatever that ends up being, 9 hours of content that I've got to sift through. And then there's the mechanics of syncing up the audio, which was recorded external of the video.
The interviews were really funny. That was good.
Yeah. So John Teague, he's a great interviewer. So what do you think about offering him a permanent paid position on the Wrong Way Roundabouts?
Well, he better do some work if you already paid him $100K.
That's just what I'm telling the IRS, man.
But why would you tell him that?
Because I get to, I'm sure I can write it off on my taxes somehow.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Now that we got this fancy LLC.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I just want to make sure we can keep our workers' comp insurance low.
I'm going to try my best. That depends on your claims, Andres. Stop filing frivolous medical claims for your hemorrhoids. John Teague, look, I would be willing to offer you a job. Obviously, Andres is a little bit more skeptical, and this is a 50-50 partnership, so we're going to have to convince him here. But great job on the interviews. You're a natural. You were certainly born for it. But Andres, walking into the match, were you confident? Did you have any doubts? You seemed confident. Even as I was watching back on the interviews, you seemed pretty confident. I think you knew you had it. Choosing your words carefully.
Yeah, we're really good. We're going to talk about this now.
Yes. Should we talk about it at a
no?
at a
I mean,
different
I
time?
don't know. I thought it was all over with. I thought we were going to wait for the tennis episode. No, I mean, yes, I felt good going in, and it was a big crowd, which I feed off crowds. I think he has to warm up to a crowd. It takes him a little bit to get going. So that was another advantage. But I mean, we made it like that on purpose. And then he's never really played singles, but but we both agreed to it. We can't really say, so yeah, I mean, I felt good. I felt comfortable.
All right. Well, you gave me pause. I was talking a big game that I could beat you. And I'm like,
not even, no. You just said you get 1 game point.
Yes.
So the fact that Josh only got 2, now you're worried.
Yes, I'm a little concerned. So,
so what were some of the other matches discussed while we were playing? So there's going to be possible doubles, pickleball between you and Frankel, TJ JT match. Like, what all was going down in the pavilion?
All I know in the pickleball thing is John T came up to me and said, "Hey, you're playing Frankel in pickleball next." And I said, "Okay, sure." And then Frankel, I talked to him later. I'm like, "Are we playing pickleball?" Frankel's like, "No, I don't know what John's talking about." So I don't think the pickleball match is official.
Okay.
I would be willing to play pickleball against somebody else. I don't know. Robbie and I have played pickleball. Anybody else is up for a challenge? I'm certainly willing to be the opener for the doubles match, which is the real main event.
Who's the doubles match?
The doubles match. Well, actually, there were multiple matches that were discussed, but there was a doubles match discussed with you and Josh being doubles partners again, playing against somebody else, right? And I think,
but that was more fleeting. I don't know how serious that was either.
I think we were talking about TJ and Teague would be your doubles opponents.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like that didn't really catch on. Like the one that caught on the most was TJ JT singles match. Everybody wants to see that.
Yes, everybody wants to see that.
We need a date. If you guys are listening, which I know you are, you guys have to get a date.
I think Jonathan's a little heated about that too. There's a certain air of expectation that TJ would win a match like that, and Jonathan did not appreciate that opinion.
Like Jonathan's really good. The reason he usually plays line 3 or 4 is because he likes to keep his win percentage at 98%. He's really a line 1-2 player.
I still don't understand this line thing. I understand the mechanics of it. I don't understand why playing in line 1 gives you an advantage or does not give you an advantage. At the end of the day,
because you're playing better people.
I mean, is that just like informally agreed upon that you always play your best people in line 1 and 2?
Yes and no. There is a rule that you can, let's say you play line 1 week, let's say the season starts, and let's say we'll use names so it makes it easier. And this Jonathan and TJ playing line 1. Week 2, either one of them can only go down 2 lines at most.
Okay. I still don't understand why that matters. Could I upend the whole neighborhood Alta Tennis League system by just playing my best people in line 6?
There's only 5 lines.
And it would be
that would be an
interesting strategy.
Yeah. If it's really bad, they might like your opponent might complain to the Alta League saying they're sandbagging. But you can also dumb down your game and give away points pretending like you're not good. So yes, but there's like a lot. There's a lot that goes into all that. You might as well just play your players, and see who the better team is. Like we do try to balance lines. So like I'm not gonna put Brian and TJ line 1. Usually Brian will play with somebody line 1 that's still really good but not as good, and then TJ will play line 2. So we have more strength instead of just like trying to destroy line 1. We don't try to like throw a line, put 2 horrible people on line 2. And then guarantee 4. That's a little shady. But you could do it.
Okay. So going back to the original point, though, yes, I believe the next officially agreed upon, the bout was accepted. We don't have a time or a schedule, but the bout was accepted. Mr. Cohn and Mr. Teague will face off at some point, hopefully in the near future. I think everybody enjoyed it. It's quite a good show.
It was an awesome crowd. That was a lot of fun. Even me being the one playing, get to hang on after. It was always awesome.
Yeah, we had all the kids, the wives. We had the eggs. Robbie brought the mini Blackstone down there.
Yep.
That was fantastic. So I enjoyed that. I think you were a little pissed off that we're not always doing that for the normal Ulta matches.
Yeah, for like the team.
Yeah. We don't care about the Ulta team. We care about the fantasy football league. That's the draw.
Yep.
And then there was even a fleeting suggestion from Mr. Fagan. This was in the chat. It was not mentioned at the event because Fagan was not at the event. He was,
with the miniature cows.
right, or, getting rid of evidence. But he suggested in the chat a full bracket style elimination tournament.
He feels left out. He really wants to play somebody. But I think Teague and Cone they got to step up and be like, okay, we can let Brian play. I won't say they're scared, but maybe challenge him too.
So we'll follow up on this. As you mentioned, there is a full tennis episode that will be coming out. There'll be video associated with that as well. We have the video with Mr. Ciavone. We're going to have a video podcast for the tennis special. So we can talk more about what happened with the you versus Josh in addition to the upcoming matches when we get to that tennis special. Let's move on, sir, if it's okay with you. You want to get into some local news here.
Yeah.
So here's my first one for you. This is becoming like a personal story for me. Do you remember John Theed?
Yes. How can I forget?
Yeah. So why is John Theed famous? He got every merit badge, right?
Yeah. And without becoming an Eagle Scout.
Yes. 16 years old. This is important. Trust me. I'm getting to something here. 16-year-old John Theed earned every single merit scout badge and said that his ambition was to be an Eagle Scout. And this was in Tim Arts' episode. Me, you, and Tim sat there and thought, how the hell do you get every merit badge and not become an Eagle Scout? So I have news for you. This is also in Forsyth County. 2 14-year-old twin boys have attained the rank of Eagle Scout.
Do you think one of them did all the work but just kept changing roles so the both brothers could gain it?
Either that or they just communicated telepathically. When they're doing the Eagle Scout test and they're filling out the Scantron sheet. Our younger listeners won't understand what the hell that is. I think they were feeding answers back and forth. But that's a compelling theory as well, that they were physically cheating on the device.
Yeah, one did all the physical stuff, one did all the mental work.
Yep. So 14 years old, Eagle Scouts. Here's the interesting part. They attained the rank of Eagle Scout with only 21 merit badges. So
yeah, but I thought we figured out that he just never filled out the application.
I think we just assumed that. I don't know what the hell John Theed is doing at this point. I'm going to try to get John Theed on this podcast. I'm going to reach out to him. I'll find his TikTok. I'll see if he can come on here and explain it because something is amiss. If a 16-year-old that has a merit badge and it was like nuclear engineering was one of them, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he should get a merit badge in procrastination if he's gotten everything else and he's still not an Eagle Scout. But it's not an age thing, clearly. It's not a badge count thing because these 14-year-old twins, they were able to do it with only 21 merit badges. I feel like that waters down John Theed's accomplishment there a little bit personally.
Yeah.
So, but I'll get him. I'm going to reach out to him. Theed is a unique surname, right? I'm sure we can figure out where he lives. And we can ask him all sorts of things. He could be a fun interview. So, Andres, I do normally try to keep things light on this podcast with the local news stuff. So I'm not going to make too many jokes about this because ultimately it is very sad. It was a tragedy. But you remember the truck that piled through a bunch of cars up at 400 and 369? This was actually 3 years ago. This was in 2022 that it happened.
I don't recall that incident.
Well, I'll sum it up. There was an 18-wheeler who did not.
It was an 18-wheeler.
Yes. Yeah.
I just thought it was like a pickup truck.
Oh, no. It's like it was a full-fledged freighter that this guy was driving. And he caused quite an accident there. And unfortunately, people were killed in that event. But he's been sentenced 20 years in prison. He got for that, for negligent homicide. I took a note on this one only because they gave some of the details of his arrest. This guy had crystal meth, marijuana, and open bottles, not just singular, bottles of Jack Daniel in the truck at the time of the accident when they arrested him.
Wow.
Yeah, that's...
Wait, what is that? 15? 20 years, 15 to serve? Or
He was sentenced to 20 years, 15 to serve. So he's got to stay in prison 15 years minimum. And the last 5, assuming he, suppose, is well behaved in prison, he could go out on parole.
Oh, okay.
So, but minimum 15 years in prison. The guy was 62 years old. So you're getting out at 77 there, best case scenario. And then you're still spending 5 more years on probation. So that's, it's going to be tough for this guy. But the amount of intoxicants that he had in the truck, that's something else. I think it explains the accident. I think it'd be pretty difficult to drive with that level of inebriation.
Well,
in lighter news, can we move on?
Yeah. Well, lighter news relative to that, but still not light.
I think everything is lighter news relative to that.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I started out with it. Now
Okay.
we can only kind of continue climbing out of that hole. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office arrested an individual named Dylan Earl Combs. And they gave, the little finger quote thing. He was a peeping Tom, which I don't know if this is actually like a legal definition of a crime.
I think it is.
Peeping Tom?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see,
But
this is where ChatGPT could be helpful,
Yeah,
Andres. AI would tell me.
Peeping Tom, and last name is Combs, like Sean Combs.
All right. I've got a spot on the notes to get to Mr. Combs a little bit later on.
Who,
but
Dylan? Or I thought you were going to try to get him on the show too for a second. I'm like, what? You want to get to P. Diddy.
yeah, I
Okay.
might be able to get P. Diddy on the show after this. He's going to need money if we could pay him something.
No, I meant, I thought you want to get Dylan Earl Combs on the show.
I
Because he's
don't-
local.
I mean, I'll shoot him a Facebook message.
I don't think Natalie wants him in your house.
That's probably a good point. Can we record that episode at your house?
I don't think we'll want him there either. We go to the public library.
Okay. But Dylan Earl Combs was arrested. He broke into a neighbor's house. I read through the story, and the neighbor said that she was outside, and she had walked back into her house and found the suspect. I guess he's still a suspect, alleged at this point, Dylan Earl Combs, sitting on the floor in her bedroom, and she understandably freaked out, ran out of the house, called the police. The police came and arrested Mr. Combs, not Sean P. Diddy Combs, Mr. Dylan Earl Combs. Arrested him, and they asked him, "What are you doing, man? Why were you in your neighbor's house?" And his response was that he takes so many drugs that he didn't remember going into her house. So that was his defense. You think that would hold up in court? Is that?
I mean, yeah, it depends. If they take his blood alcohol, or his blood content, see what comes up. Yeah, maybe. I mean, he'd still be guilty, but maybe less of a sentence.
You don't think it could possibly be more of a sentence, like our friend the truck driver? Is it an aggravated offense at that point if you're getting high out of your mind and wandering into your neighbor's houses? Do you think that helps with a jury or hurts with a jury?
Well, I think with the jury, it was regardless. It doesn't. I think with the judge, the actual sentencing probably helps if you're not all in your head at the moment.
All right. Well, Dylan Earl Combs, if you'd like to be on the show, we'll be recording at Andres' house. Send you the address. And another, here you go. Here's a truly lighthearted story, Andres. I'm going to step out of the realm of homicide and
Out of depravity.
depravity. Yeah, thank you. Couple Kami Pavand and Stacy Sorensen. I wonder if there's any relation to Chris Sorensen.
I noticed that. I was like, wait, what?
So Kami Pavand and Stacy Sorensen, they had a whole story written about them in the Forsyth County News. And I'm going to sound like I'm being sarcastic and cynical. I'm not. I thought it was a nice story. So what they did was they started walking around their neighborhood, much like Thorngate. They, take their evening walks together, and they would knock on a door. And every day they would take this walk, and they would knock on a different door every day, and they would just introduce themselves. I'm Pommy. I'm Stacy. And they would meet their neighbors and just try to have a conversation, learn about what they did. And, in the article in the Forsyth News, they said that they were doing this almost in rejection or in response to today's increasingly digital and disconnected world where people are communicating, electronically through SMS, through iMessage, through Facebook Messenger. So they were making a deliberate effort to go out there and kind of, I'll say, reinstantiate the face-to-face community that neighborhoods had prior to the internet. And you know how I feel about the internet.
I do. It's a very ironic you work in delivery systems. No, it's funny because Jeff said the same thing. He and Diane were putting up flyers to meet people.
Yeah, I thought that was I think that's a lost art too. Yeah. I bet Jeff and what the hell's the guy's name? Kami. Jeff and Kami would get along. I bet Kami would come over to Jeff's fancy parties. Yeah. But yeah, how do you think that would go in Thorngate? I feel like it wouldn't go over well here. He must have, maybe he's like an exceedingly charming man, but
It would take a lot for me to answer the door because I hate salespeople.
Yeah.
Solicitors. So it would take, because I'm going to assume that if I don't know who's at my door, it'll be a solicitor.
so you don't think that he could have convinced you though that he was here with good intentions?
Oh, no, he could have actually answered the door. I don't think I would answer the door.
Oh, you wouldn't even answer the door?
No.
Why don't I always answer the
No,
door?
because I can't stand solicitors. So if I don't know who it is, I'm going to assume it's a solicitor.
What do you check like the Ring doorbell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I looked at the window. If I'm working in the office, I'm like, wait, who's that?
See, I always answer the door. We've lost the battle.
No, this is not about digital technology. I grew up a lot. Like where I grew up, I was me and my brother alone.
Yeah.
So like, I just hated when somebody random showed up. So like, I guess it's still in my bones.
Okay.
That's why I say if it's a solicitor, I just don't want to deal with him. If I could tell it's a neighbor, like if it's somebody, if I check the ring and they got nothing, no badge, no clipboard, nothing. Okay, then yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I might give it a shot.
You should. It could be a gentleman like Kami coming by to just introduce himself and have a friendly neighborhood chat. So if you check the ring, there's no clipboard, there's no mini Segway and, brochure that the guy is carrying, you would at least open the door.
Yeah.
And if he was like, hey, I'm Kami, I just want to chat. What do you do for a living? You'd entertain it? You'd talk to him?
Yeah. I would talk to him.
Okay. So you're about it then. You think this is a good thing?
Yes, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a great thing. Yeah.
Okay. Should we do it? Maybe that could be a segment on the podcast. We could do spontaneous
Meet your neighbors.
Yeah, ambush interviews.
Yeah.
Or we just walk up to a random house with the mics, the wireless mics that actually work this time, not like the ones I had at the wrestling event. And we just do man on the street interviews right there.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like worried about getting shot. I'm going to be honest with you, but
No, see, that's the word about it. But I did open the door one time. So it was like a younger looking kid, maybe early 20s. And I just thought he was in the neighborhood. He was like a political guy, handing me a brochure. I didn't notice. Not the end of the world. If it's like political or religious where it can move along, I don't care. But if it's a solicitor, those are the ones that drive me crazy.
okay. So, I feel like we don't really get that many solicitors here. I often see posts on the neighborhood Facebook page where helpful neighbors will say, just a warning, there's some guy out selling roofing. They must be skipping my house a lot of the time. I very rarely get solicitors, and I don't have like a no soliciting sign or anything. Maybe I look poor. Maybe I look like I can't afford the services they're selling.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. I feel like it is. I don't get that many. I was just saying in general. I mean, I think me and TJ have mentioned that being in the front, I guess they just go in and then make their rounds. They walk around, but I don't get that many either. But I would think this street you would. And I know Robbie's got that sign up that the baby's always asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't. But yeah, I've seen the Facebook posts trying to be helpful. The roofers are here. Whatever.
So the final stories I've got on the local news front, Andres, unless you've got anything that you want to add to the agenda real quick. I got an update about Happy Family. You remember our discussion about the Chinese restaurant? They had a 22.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, and then later
I will never patronize that place again.
Well, that's good. So keep that in mind. They got a 94 in the follow-up inspection. They are, what was that? That was 2 podcasts ago. They're already back down to an 87. They are not learning.
No.
How do you get a 22 and then less than a month later, you're back down to an 87? Like, how do you lose? Like, you're just not taking it seriously at that point.
Yeah.
So I wonder if
I wonder what it was this time that made it drop. Was it the exoskeletons? Was it the cook with the cigarette in his hand?
There were no exoskeletons. I did look. It was all mundane stuff. I didn't even bother writing it down in the notes because it was stuff like when you were talking about your restaurant experience and it's like, whatever. The mop is next to the sink. It's not like one of them. I do remember one specific one. It said that there was an uncovered dim light bulb. And I'm like, who is this a thing? Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, I would never choose whether or not I'm going to eat in a restaurant based on whether or not they had a bare light bulb. That is meaningless to me.
Interesting.
So I don't know. Maybe it's racism against the Chinese owners there. They're dinging them points for bare light bulbs. That seems a little bit hostile at that point.
I mean, it could be something with the metal.
I mean, aren't light bulbs glass?
No, but you said it was uncovered. So if it's like the film or whatever.
I don't think that they meant like the film on the light bulb. I think like, you have those boob looking light fixtures in everybody's house. They're like the builder grade boob looking light fixtures. You would know immediately what I'm talking about when I show you.
All right.
But all they are is they're just shades effectively, and you screw them in and they cover a light bulb. The bare light bulb is there. You put some sort of light fixture.
So they still had glass around,
right?
In case. Okay.
Yeah, it diffuses the light from the bare light bulb, so it's not a harsh light. That's what I believe that they're saying here.
Yeah, then that is kind of weird.
Yeah. All right. Well, then that's it. Happy family. Don't go there. Oh, I did have a mention on here. Now I'm seeing in my notes. Golden Corral is reopened, and I got to admire the spirit in which they announced their reopening. They what did I write down here? They said newly remodeled on the sign in front of their restaurant. They claimed it was newly remodeled. I mean, suppose that's technically correct. It burned down. So, I guess you do have to remodel a restaurant that caught on fire, but they really, they made lemonade out of lemons with that. At a restaurant fire, they've reopened already, and they are advertising it as a newly remodeled Golden Corral. So if you ever go to Golden Corral, Andres, it's open again.
Okay.
Is that a spot that you visit?
I haven't been to one in about 15 to 20 years. I used to love it when I was like 17, 18, and I would eat all day like a teenager. That was a good buffet.
I think Golden Corral is repulsive.
Yeah. Well, what was I say? When I was like in my teens and I played sport, like my appetite was voracious, and like CC's Golden, like any Chinese buffet, I would tear this place up.
CC's was mine. CC's
was awesome.
We would have eating contest at CC's to see who could eat the most pizza.
Yeah. And
I never won because there was a guy in my neighborhood named Luke, and he wasn't even really like a fat guy. He was, he was a tall guy. He had a large frame, but I wouldn't have called him fat. But that guy could eat like 3 large pizzas, and I can't even imagine what happened after he left CC's. But it was impressive to watch.
Yeah,
I miss CC's.
And Sweet Tomatoes, man, that place was awesome. The one by North Point.
Now they had the soup, right?
Yeah, the soup and salad, and then they had like little pizza pasta thing.
Yeah, I think I've only been to Sweet Tomatoes once or twice.
Well, I think they're all closed now.
Yeah, I know Natalie was a big Sweet Tomatoes fan, and I went with her a couple of times. And I'm a big soup guy. That's my thing.
Oh, really?
I love soup, man. There's nothing better than a good soup. I'm always on like the hunt for soup recipes and things like that.
You like brothy soups, creamy soup, or it doesn't matter?
Yes.
Yep.
All of them. Any sort of soup. The only soup I would say I don't like, I really don't dislike anything, but like the Italian wedding soup, like that's not.
What is that?
It's like a very brothy, kind of thin soup. There's vegetables in it. I'm not like
minestrone, but weak, like not as good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of. So that's, I guess I'll call that out. But even that, I would eat it. But I think soup is, especially when it's cold outside, like a nice cold winter day. Yeah, you make some hot soup, get some bread with it. My new thing too. I've been making bread. I got a bread maker.
Okay.
I'm like full on geriatric at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not doing anything fun. Making bread, soups. Delicious though.
Playing pickleball.
Yeah, but I'm well, Matt won't play me.
Oh.
What happened to CC's? Why are there no CC's left anymore? Where's the closest one if I wanted to go?
I think they all went bankrupt during COVID. Same with Sweet Tomatoes. So they all just shut down.
Well, maybe that's a business idea. Let's open a CC's.
Oh, all right. You can do that one on your own.
Although I never really understood how they make money, because I mean, it was $4 for the buffet and then another $2 for a drink. You go in there for $6 and you can eat as much pizza as you want.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it, I understand why they went out of business.
Yeah.
They did not have an MBA running that, pricing structure over there. That was never profitable.
Must have been some really low quality dough then.
All right, what did I miss, Andres? Are we all set up on local news, or is there anything that you can think of that we should be discussing?
No, nothing big really happened.
And we'll move on. There are a couple national stories we'll get to real quick, and we'll return to Mr. Combs, but this time not Dylan Earl Combs, Sean Puffy P. Diddy Combs. I don't know. He's changed his name a couple times. I think he's just formally Diddy now at this point. So I have not kept up with this trial much. Have you kept up with it?
No, not at all. I mean, if I get like a breaking news alert about something egregious or some crazy comment, I'll see it. But no, I don't know. Like, for example, today I did see that the judge might have to make Diddy be tried from jail instead of being allowed in the courtroom because he's trying to talk to the jurors.
Diddy is trying to talk
Yeah.
to the jurors?
So he says so the judge said if he keeps doing that, he won't be able to be in attendance in the courtroom.
So is he like saying it? Maybe you don't know. Is he like just talking in open court? And
Yeah. That's how I read it. Like I said, it was more of like a little headline blur.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not keeping up, so I wasn't like super interested, but that's how I read it.
okay. I think he's in trouble, even with me not, I'll say, like religiously keeping up with the news of the trial. What I do here is not good. And I think what is even admitted to is not good for him from a career perspective. If he is found not guilty, I don't think he's going to be able to go to the same award shows and live the same life that he did. He's a weird dude. He's a very weird dude. And I'll give you, this is something that caught my eye as I was looking through the news stories today. There was a witness in his trial. I think this was today or sometime this week. It was a male stripper. And apparently his stage name is The Punisher. So there's that. You can do with whatever you want with that visual. Male stripper named The Punisher. Run by that Andres. Use your imagination. But The Punisher had apparently attended these freak-offs with P. Diddy. Have you heard about the freak-offs? Do you know what those are?
I have some vague idea, yeah. But all right, you're going to tell the audience.
Sure. These are the multi-day sex parties that Diddy was apparently throwing. And then you've probably heard the references that his house was raided and there were thousands of bottles of lube. And his lawyer said that, well, people buy lube. They're like, why do you need thousands of bottles of it? And he said, Costco sells in bulk. I do remember all this.
Wow, that's a clever defense, I must say.
I mean, I guess to be fair to that guy, Diddy's not giving him a lot to work with, right?
Yeah.
Can you come up with a better defense for owning thousands of bottles of lube?
No.
Unless you ran some sort of, I don't even know.
A freak off.
A freak off. It seems like there's only one utilitarian purpose for this, and Diddy was in that business. But at any rate, this male stripper named The Punisher attended these freak offs, fairly frequently. But he was being questioned by the prosecution today, and they were asking The Punisher, what sorts of things happened at these freak offs, and how did he get involved with Diddy? And I guess Diddy's wife or girlfriend or antagonist in this trial is this Cassie Ventura lady, who is also a music star. And so The Punisher described his first meeting with Diddy. He was invited to come to Diddy's house, and he was led to believe that he was going to be doing some sort of like bachelorette party. He would go, and there was a group of women. So he shows up, and there's only Cassie Ventura. So he's like, that's how I saw Cassie the first time. And Cassie explains that her husband, so I guess they are married, that her husband is going to come out later, but that they should go ahead and get started. And then the lube comes in. Apparently what the husband wanted to see. Cassie lubes up the Punisher lubes up Cassie. This, by the way, David Cohn, Alex Black, Weston Davis, if any of you guys are listening, stop right now.
It's in the news, so.
Yes. Okay.
And you're not saying anything inappropriate. You're just kind of relitigating, no pun intended, what's been happening.
That's true. So the Punisher is lubing up Cassie. Cassie's lubing up the Punisher. And then Diddy apparently makes his entrance to this party. And the Punisher described him. I can't even read this without laughing. The Punisher said, Diddy walked out completely naked, except for a veil that he was wearing. And the prosecution asked him to describe the veil. And the Punisher said, like one of those Muslim veils where you can only see their eyes.
But he had no clothes, neck and below, right?
He was completely naked. This visual, man, of P. Diddy wearing a Muslim woman's veil and walking out has been cracking me up. What the hell is wrong with this guy, man?
That's when you take egomania to the 20th degree.
Yeah, I don't.
Because, these people aren't going to tell him. Well, obviously, he caught up to him at the end, but all these years, nobody's going to tell him. He could tell them what to do, the freak offs. I think I sent you a screenshot one time of getting urinated on.
Oh, yeah. There's
this crazy stuff that came out.
That's one of the things, the pee fetish or whatever it is. That I just can't get my mind wrapped around that. Like, and a lot of the stuff. I'll even give Diddy some, I guess, credit. I guess not, or credit is the wrong word. The freak off, if I really stretch my mind and really, really try hard, I'm like, okay, I guess I can see how somebody might, want to participate in a 4-day orgy with thousands of bottles of lube. I guess. Like I can kind of find a really convoluted path to understand why somebody would want that. I've never been able to understand why anybody wants to be peed on.
Yeah. No, completely. I have no idea.
Yeah. Or, I mean, that's not even the worst one, right? There's the poop fetish too. I feel like that's even a level beyond it.
Oh, that's even worse. But that hasn't come up with this trial.
No, not, well, it hasn't come up yet, Andres. I think there's still several days.
I mean, that's at least, because urine is at least mostly sterile. Whereas if you defecate, you have E. coli, you have all kinds of.
See, now I feel like you're using my tact. You're trying to make your brain wrap around it so you can understand.
I'm not.
Okay.
No, because you said it's even worse level. I'm like, yeah, it's way worse. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, but I wasn't even talking medically, just like sociologically.
Yeah, all of it.
So that's what's going on in Diddy world. Whether or not he's found guilty or not guilty, I think his life is over. I don't think he's going to be producing many records after that. The best he can hope for is like an OJ-like existence.
I was just thinking about OJ. Like even if he gets found not guilty of the criminal trial, he's going to have all these lawsuits, civil, which have a lower threshold of being found guilty. So yeah, he's done.
He's going to have to move to Las Vegas and sign autographs. So celebrities, we kind of stay on the topic here. Do you know who this lady Gabby Thomas is? I'm going to guess not.
Was she the sprinter?
She was a sprinter, yes. So, okay. So you know Gabby Thomas. So Gabby Thomas is a 3-time Olympic sprinter. She was in the news tangentially because there was a guy, and his social media influencer name is Mr. 100K a day. He's also known as the biggest hater in track and field. I think these are all kind of like self-proclaimed titles. I don't think anybody meaningful has given them these titles. But he was betting against Gabby Thomas. He was betting against Gabby, with some other.
Gabby Thomas, she's like the fastest woman on earth.
Yeah, so
that's her, right?
This was his strategy. He went and he placed an $800 bet against her. I think actually this was one leg of a parlay. He needed Gabby Thomas to not win this race. So he went to the race and he got, seats right next to the track where they're starting. And he just relentlessly harassed her, screaming at her, saying things about her husband, her sister, saying all sorts of just weird shit to Gabby Thomas to throw her off. And Gabby did, in fact, lose the race. Now, I don't know. I don't know a lot about Gabby Thomas. Maybe she's a little bit past her prime and she would have lost anyway. Or maybe this guy actually did get in her head. But the story had popped off because Mr. 100K a day went on his social media channels later and bragged about it and specifically said that he won his bet because he got in Gabby's head and threw her off her game. So FanDuel, which is where he had placed this particular bet, banned him from the entire platform, which, yeah, I think that's fair, right?
Yeah.
Guy's an asshole. So there's
not just that. It's very, it's kind of unethical to try to skew a competition or a game or something. I think that's the main reason.
Kind of unethical? It's way
the reason is like gambling is also a little shit. I gamble sometimes, but yeah, I guess it's just very unfair. So yeah, unethical.
I mean, I know what you mean. I don't think gambling is unethical though. I mean, it's gambling. It's your money. I guess I'm very libertarian when it comes to things like gambling. I don't care what you do with your money.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do it too sometimes, like very rarely, but it's not like it's not really like a sector of the economy that people look up to, I guess. But you can't be doing that. This guy can't be doing that. And then I think you hear stories like that sometimes, like, oh, I put in a 5-leg parlay and I messed up this guy's golf putt, so I knew I was going to win 100K. And then like they get they boast about it,
yeah,
and then they get the money. It's like, no, why they don't get the money?
So that was what this article is going into. So obviously the centerpiece of the article is about Gabby Thomas and the Mr. 100K a day, posting about winning this bet and throwing her off. But the article that I was reading went through several other examples where similar things have happened, just like you're talking about, that it's now become a bit of a thing where people are going out there and they're putting money on events, on games, on matches or what have you. And they're interfering. I don't really know how else to say it.
Yeah.
Like they're not going as far as physically touching the players or anything like that, but they're interfering with the outcomes of the match to try to influence their bet, which is crazy. That certainly is unethical.
Oh yeah.
It's the whole concept of betting though. And again, stayed up front, libertarian about this. I don't have any issue with it, but it's crazy to me how kind of pervasive it's become in society lately. Like I see gambling ads everywhere all the time, and they're sponsoring like the NFL now, and Major League, or not Major League Soccer, European soccer. You and I watch a lot of the European soccer, and I think England actually is either has already banned betting companies from sponsoring the shirts, or is going down that path. But a lot of the European teams, their sponsors are all betting companies.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if it's something where I'm just paying attention to it more now, or betting really has become more prolific.
No, it's become way more prolific. There's been a lot of articles about that. Well, I don't know about Europe, but yeah, because it's been legalized now. That's sports betting. Before, for a long time, only if you only lived in like Nevada.
Yeah.
So now that it's proliferated, yeah, it's a lot bigger now.
Okay.
Because like FanDuel and what's the other one? Kings. There's like two big ones. Yeah, they sponsor commercials during NFL games. Yeah. But then like the NFL is like tells the players you can't bet on games. Like there's a lot of hypocrisy too, and so people get upset about it.
So I heard Allison cheering at the match. Is this what she was doing? Was she trying to get in Josh's head? Was Allison?
No. She was just cheering.
Allison pulling a FanDuel on here? Does she know Mr. 100K a day? I know she's got a social media presence.
No, she was just cheering.
Okay. I wasn't sure if this was part of the plan here, Andres. If you were doing this to deliberately throw Josh off his game.
No, I don't think Teague took any bets with. He put a line up, but I don't think he played bookie.
No, we should have. All right. Moving on from gambling, I've got bad news for you, Andres. For fall break this year, were you planning to go to Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, Congo Republic, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, or Yemen?
We looked at a resort of the Congo Republic.
Well, I have good news for you, because Trump has said that nobody can go to these countries and nobody from those countries can come here. But Congo Republic actually issued a statement through one of their national spokespeople and said that this is true, they were included by mistake. I thought that was pretty funny that there was an official press release that Congo Republic says that they were included by mistake. Didn't really include any additional details as what the mistake was.
So I didn't realize the travel ban was both ways. I thought it was just no entry into the U.S.
Isn't it? I thought it was both ways.
No, that's what I'm asking.
I could be wrong. The way I read it in the article, it is two-way though. You can't go there and they can't come here.
Oh, okay.
Because it did talk in the article I was reading about that if you have certain, I don't know if they're called visas or travel permissions, like if you had family and a valid reason to travel there, that there were exceptions for some of these countries. So I took it as it's bi-directional. No in or out on there. All right, so you're going to have to reschedule your trip if you were going to Congo Republic, maybe, unless they're able to clear up the mistake.
Yeah. Turkmenistan, isn't that nearby Azerbaijan?
Did I mention Turkmenistan?
Well, on the second.
Oh, don't worry. Those people are only partially restricted.
Okay. Let's make sure we don't lose our Azerbaijani listener.
Yeah, no, they'll be all right. You guys are welcome to come. You're probably going to have to jump through a couple of extra hoops, but people from Burundi, is that a real country?
Yeah, it's by South Africa, I think.
Look at you, man. Do you think you can...
That's we play Wordle, though.
Would you be able to identify Burundi on Wordle?
Burundi, probably not. Cuba, easy peasy.
Yeah, I think even I could get Cuba. How many of these countries? Now there's 19 because there's 12 that are straight up banned, and these additional 7. And I'll read them real quick. Burundi, which I don't think is real. Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. Those are all partially restricted. So out of these 19,
you can't try to... You don't want to isolate our Burundi listener. You never know. We can make it to any one of these countries.
They're not going to have the internet in Burundi. What the... Burundi? Where did you say this place was?
I think it's by South Africa. I think it's southern part of Africa.
Is this one of those places where they have like the Senegalese tribes that have never seen like airplanes and shit?
I don't know.
I've honestly never even heard of this country.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rare. I think I don't know. Keep going. So,
okay. So, I mean, they're partially restricted. There's 19 countries listed here, Andres. What do you think? How many of them could you identify on a map?
Actually, most of these: Afghanistan, Myanmar.
I'm calling you out on Eritrea. That's another one I'm suspicious about.
Eritrea. That's right next to Somalia.
Oh,
That one I know where it is.
That helps. I don't.
Haiti, Iran. I could point on the map, or what it looks like. Cuba, Venezuela. Yeah, not bad.
Well, give me a number out of 19.
Well, I don't
how
know,
many
what
do you
they
think
count,
you
like
could get?
9 or 10 of those. I don't know. It was about half. I think.
I think I could get Afghanistan, Haiti, Cuba, and probably maybe Venezuela. That might be the other one. That's it. I'm tapping out on every other one of these.
You talking about just like the shape, like the silhouette,
Right. If you put a blank map in front of me and I had to pick them out, there's only a couple of them I could get. I'm terrible about geography.
Yeah.
There was
So you don't play it. You're the one that showed me the game. You don't play that every day.
Not religiously. I can't keep up with it. There was a meme early in my marriage with Natalie where and I don't know why I said this. It's really pathetic. I'm surprised I'm admitting this on the podcast. I once thought Pakistan bordered England. This is a true story.
God.
And England's like an island. It doesn't even make any sense. And I knew that. I don't know what happened to me that day, but that's the honest truth.
Something happened to your brain, or you thought that for a long time.
No, I thought that for a long time. Because you know how there's a lot of Pakistanis in England?
Yeah.
I had somehow made the connection in my mind that it's because it borders Pakistan.
Oh, okay.
And it actually, I don't know if it doesn't. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I know.
Yeah. In fact, nothing borders England because it's an island. I guess that's not technically true. Scotland and Wales.
Yeah.
Northern Ireland.
And technically Ireland. Because Northern Ireland. No, that's not England.
Northern Ireland.
You thought you can't, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. But no, Pakistan, and I'm going to give you, it's actually not even close to England, Andres. It's thousands of miles away.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Okay. So that was just me then that thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's hard to tell which is worse. The fact that you didn't do laundry for 43 years or that Pakistan bordered England.
I know it's worse. It's Pakistan bordering England.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I have a logical reason for having not done laundry. My mom did it, and then Natalie did it. I had no reason to ever learn that skill. I'm not saying that's a good reason. And again, I'm not proud of it, but it made sense. There's no logical reason I thought Pakistan was next to England.
Yeah.
I don't have a good defense for that.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
I think it was it. Did I have any more topics on here? Let's see. What else did I have?
Oh, no.
I just had the Congo Republic. They said it was a mistake. You want to speculate what the mistake could have been? It'd be funny if it is actually a mistake. If Trump was like, yeah, throw.
I have no idea. What would it have been?
He thought it was like something else. I don't know.
Oh.
Do you think they'll be able to get off the list? I don't feel like Trump's, and this is not a political comment. I'm not trying to pick at Trump, but he's not usually the best at admitting when he's made a mistake. So if he mistakenly put Congo Republic on the list, guys, I'm sorry. I think you're staying. I don't think you're going to get off. Unless you've got an airplane that you can give them that, maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Andres, we've run the gamut. Good show today. I'm glad we got Jeff on. I like Jeff.
That was a good interview.
Yeah,
Thanks again, Jeff, for making the time to come on. Appreciate that.
And hopefully we'll see you at the Combine this year. You can even participate in the Combine. I think that would be fun. And I am going to work on the promotion relegation thing, Jeff. You got my word on that.
Not happening.
Yeah, you can't. Andres is shaking his head. He says
but,
no.
But Jeff, if you want to buy 1 square foot of John's yard, then you're eligible for the league.
Yep, that was an option we threw out to keep Michael Crispin in, an official bill of sale for 1 square foot of my backyard. But Jeff, I think you should just buy a house. Find one. There's a couple for sale. And move on back here. You're in a high demand job category, Jeff. I think you can pull it off. And Andres, there is another league rule that you've informed me about that previous members jump the queue.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. So Jeff would be considered a previous member.
Yeah. After Christmas season's over.
Yeah.
That'd be an open spot. Yeah.
So the clock is ticking, Jeff. If you buy a house in Thorngate, you're jumping the queue and there'll be a spot open next year.
There you go.
All right. Well, Mr. Zay, is there anything that we have forgotten to cover?
I don't think so. That's good.
You've got at least one member of the HOA listening to this podcast. Jonathan T., do you want to request a pool key since Austin lost one of them?
Oh, we already ordered it. He's already going to give it to me this weekend. He already texted me. He's on top of it.
Look at that, man. You got all the inroads at
He's
the
on top of
neighborhood.
it.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to throw this.
Good.
I was going to throw this out there. Ed Hines. I'm going to give a big shout out to Ed Hines. Apparently, Ed Hines found the holy grail of Thorngate HOA activity. He fixed the sprinklers.
Oh, he got the irrigation. Yeah. He's been talking to me about it because he kept asking about the hose or the watering situation.
Yeah.
But he got a few quotes and he finally got the sprinklers up.
So well done, Ed Hines. I was on the board for like 15 years and I never figured that one out. So good for you. That's awesome. That's going to be helpful at the front of the neighborhood, as Andres well knows.
Yes. But it's, I was going to say before we sign off, because we do the birthday shout outs. So happy birthday, Jonathan, because his birthday's.
Oh, yeah.
By the time this comes out, it'll be
his birthday will have passed.
Yeah. And
happy belated birthday.
So big shout out to Jonathan because of the party and stuff, but also Sean Bosman. They have the same day.
They should do a joint party.
They should have.
Yeah. It could be like we had the hot dog party. Who was that? Was Michael, TJ, and Robbie, right?
Yeah.
All right. Then there could be another one the next month. That could be Sean and John. Isn't your birthday in February? No? When is your birthday?
Oh, man. You hurt my feelings.
Oh, when's my birthday?
February 8th?
Oh, well, that was a lot closer than I would have expected. No, February 10th. But
that's really close.
Yeah, that is really close. So anybody that's got a February birthday, I'm up for the joint celebration. When is your birthday, Andres?
July 11th. 7/11.
Okay.
7/11. Remember.
Yeah, that is easier. I'll remember that now because of 7/11.
Well, yeah, because we have a small trifecta in July. Angstrom is the first, and he's turning 50. He's a big one. And then Sappenfield's the third. I'm the 11th.
All right. There you go. So we got a Sappenfield, Engstrom, Zaya July birthday party.
Hopefully.
You're going to do it at the pool?
In America.
In America.
July 4th.
Yeah. Happy 248th birthday.
Wow.
Is that right? Sounds right. Right?
So,
no, 249th.
1776.
Yeah.
And what are we? 22? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Happy 249th birthday, America. You've done well. It's actually not looking great in the immediate future, but it was 249 very solid years. So
after 1865.
Yeah, okay. there were a couple, Natalie and I broke up once or twice before we got married. So,
there you go.
Swings and roundabouts in every relationship. Well, I think we'll wrap it up then. Look, we're like borderline short for tonight, Andres. We're only an hour and 51 minutes in.
As we get bigger, we got lots of stuff coming down the pipe. So
we do. There's a few surprises up our sleeve for future episodes, but I think we're going to call it a wrap for tonight. Thank you again to Jeff Civone. It was a pleasure talking to you, sir. Hopefully we'll be talking to you again soon. Good night and good luck.
See ya.
Now we're singing this tune to avoid lawsuits. NFL execs got me quaking in my boots. Sorry, Sir Elton, it was just a joke. Jon and Andres don't want none of that smoke. It's the wrong way roundabouts.